If I'm not out there physically practicing, I'm quote unquote falling behind, and it's not true.
Having a vision board and thinking about what you want is great, but if you do the work as well, you can almost guarantee that you're gonna to get where you want to go.
Right? That's why visualization belief is so powerful.
Yeah.
When you think about you going to the gym, for example, right? What you're really doing is being that person who goes to the gym.
So Seema, I was scrolling LinkedIn the other day and I saw someone make a post about an image they were putting on their vision board.
Okay.
And that got me thinking about vision boarding and visualization, and a lot of people on Instagram or social media sell the power of manifesting, that you can manifest something by thinking about it. In fact, there's even a really good book called Think and Grow Rich. And that got me thinking about the power of your mind. And, a lot of people have said for a long time that we only use some fraction of our mind and our minds are so powerful. What do you think about vision boarding and visualization?
First of all, I have a vision board.
Yeah? Can we see it?
I think it would really kind of upset everything if I tried
just
to
post it. Just post it on
I'll
Instagram
post
or something. Yeah.
I have a vision board. I look at it every day.
Yeah.
And I wholly believe in manifestation with a nuance of like, I believe in the power of your mind. I have to, all of those things. Their caveat is you have to do the work.
Yeah.
Like you can't just sit here. One of my dreams, I'll say it out loud. I would love to meet and be friends with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It's just, I don't know. They have some energy about them. I love them. And I love how they're bringing light to a lot of things that are not necessarily spoken about. But if I sit here and I never, ever, ever try to like meet them, and then I get mad because that didn't manifest, but I thought about it. Like, that's not how that works, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to do the work.
Okay. So the vision board is to give some concrete parameters or depiction to what you want. And then, all that's great, but then you're saying you got to do the work. But let me ask you this. Yeah, let me ask you this. Tell us what's on, like generally, if you don't want to share, tell us generally what goes into a vision board. And because when I'm thinking of a vision board, I'm frankly thinking of a big mirror where I can just look back at myself. What is on your vision board?
What is on my vision board? So, and this is kind of apt timing because listeners, I'm actually not sure when this episode will air, but we're recording in January. It's like the 6th of January of 2024. I refuse to make New Year's resolutions because it doesn't work for me. But I do come up with a theme every year. So how I vision board is I sit there and I connect with my inner guide. Her name is Shakti. And I listen to like whatever, and you can call it your intuition or your inspiration, your muse, whatever. It does not matter. And I think of a theme. So last year for 2023, it was trust yourself to blossom. And that's what's still written on my board because we're vision boarding today. Mansi and Arjun and I are vision boarding today for 24. So once I come up with that theme, then I start thinking about what does that look like in the various other areas of my life, right? So what does that mean for my business? What does that mean for my philanthropy? What does that mean for my self-care? What does that mean for my role as a mother? What does that mean for my role as a wife? What does that mean? However, you can break it up into like social, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, professional, all of those things. And then, that's where you get to sort of play and you get to think about what that means to you. What does that look like for you? So for last year, I wanted to really master chakrasana or wheel pose. And so I can take that off and show you guys. I just went on Canva and printed out a a woman in wheel pose.
Okay.
And I got better at it because I did the work. I showed up to yoga class. We worked on it. We worked on it. We worked on it. Did I get to a full expression No, but that wasn't the goal, right?
Yeah.
Like, and a full expression changes every single day.
Yeah. And for the listeners, what Seema is showing us and what, I would call a backbend is a wheel pose of someone just bent over, backwards, touching
Mhm.
their hands, right?
Yeah, you see little kids do it all the time
Yeah.
without a
Yeah.
thought, right?
Yeah.
I'm 40 years old. My spine doesn't do what it used to,
Hmm.
but it's getting there.
Good.
But that was the result of me reminding myself when I sit down to work every day, like, have I practiced that? Why haven't I practiced that? What do I need to do in order to give myself the few minutes to practice that?
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting. So I saw this post on LinkedIn where it was in a business context. Really, really accomplished lawyer was creating an image of what they were hoping to accomplish in this year. And that got me wondering whether vision boards or visualization or thinking about your goals or your performance or anything like that would really have an impact. And I started Googling and I found this pretty impressive research paper from 1997 about the impact of thought or thinking or what they called simulated mental practice technique, SMPT,
Mm-hmm.
on the shooting accuracy of free throws of
Mm-hmm.
highly skilled basketball players. Have you heard
Yes,
about this before?
I have. I've read about it in Shirzad Shamin's book, Positive
Okay.
Intelligence, and I've also read about it in Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the
Mm,
Habit of Being Yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And so what they did is they went out and it was a study done in Greece, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and they took 30 highly skilled basketball players and they broke them up into three groups.
Right.
And there was the first group, which you call the PG group, which is PPG group, which is the physical practice group. There was a second group, which was the simulated mental practice group, the SMPG group, and there's a third group, control group. Like we know that any good experiment needs to have like a control group. And what they said to the physical practice group is before they did any of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
They took all of them and they said go shoot free throws, and they measured their free throw percentage, field goal percentage over 30 shots or 100 shots or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then what they did is they asked the folks in the PPG group, the physical practice group, for the next week to stand at a free throw line for 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and to shoot 30 shots.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, as much as you can control, at the same time, they took the other people, the other 10 people, they put them in a dark room and they say, lay down on your back and imagine yourself shooting these free throws, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't move your body, but just imagine how it would feel for you to, get the ball up and you shoot it and it's going in and all that stuff. And then to try to control for the time variability at the same time of the day, they told the control group to do crossword puzzles, which they believed was, such a neutral activity. They would
Mm-hmm.
neither have a positive or a negative effect. Like they didn't tell them to go throw footballs or to kick a soccer ball, right? They
Right.
said crossword puzzles to try to make it neutral. And then they brought them back after 7 days of the same time period of doing these
Mm-hmm.
activities. They brought them back to the free throw line. And can you guess what happened? Or what
I
happened?
I
You
know
know
what
the story.
happened. I know what
Yeah.
happened.
Well, it was really interesting, and the data's here. And if anyone wants the data, message us. We'll send it to you. I'll send you the link. The physical practice group started off with a 62% field goal made percentage, and they improved to 81%. No shocker. They improved by
Right.
about 19%. No shocker. The control group, the ones that did the crossword puzzle, they went from 59% to 63%. So about the same. Slight improvement, probably because they were now familiar with the environment. They had taken 30 shots. They had practiced, arguably, in finding the baseline, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the simulated mental practice group, the ones who did not shoot the basketball, they went from 53% to 82%. They arguably improved more than the
Mm-hmm.
ones that shot the basketball,
Yep.
and they were about the same, right? The physical practice group was 81%, the simulated mental practice group 82%, so about the same percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even better, they were shooting at 82%, when the guys who were shooting the basketball ended up at 81%. I agree that's
Hmm.
negligible. Like, are they really better? It's too close to call. But at least they were the same.
Right. They didn't get worse.
They didn't get worse. Well, none of them got worse.
No, but I mean, it's easy to be like, well, if you don't practice physically, I'm going to
Yeah,
fall off. Right.
right.
Like, it doesn't matter whether I'm visualizing or doing crossword puzzles. If I'm not out there physically practicing, I'm quote unquote falling behind. And it's not true.
Yeah, absolutely. And K-Mac, if you're out there, I'm going to do my crunches. I'm also going to think about doing crunches now because I think both will work together to get me my six-pack abs. Right? No, I'm kidding.
Right.
But yeah, and I think you nailed it in the opening of our show here, which is that having a vision board and thinking about what you want is great. But if you do the work as well, you can almost guarantee that you're gonna to get where you want to go.
Hmm. Well, and a good example of that, I remember when I was doing some yoga training, and my yoga mentor asked that I sit in the corner,
Hmm.
and literally my goal for that class was to sit and write down every single word he said, every instruction, everything.
Yep.
Obviously, my I couldn't do it all, right? But that was my goal, was to try and get everything. And invariably what happens is you start picking up on the same instruction, but in a
Hmm.
deeper way, right? Or in a
Right.
nuanced way, or like when I think about now doing a chakrasana, a wheel pose, back bend, just thinking about it, my body knows exactly which muscles to engage and which ones I would need to open and which ones I would need to relax, which ones I would need to, like have work together. I know
Yeah.
exactly what that feels like in my body,
Hmm.
so that you're essentially that neural pathway from a physiological point of view, right? Like, you're literally treading that path. You're that neural pathway is getting further developed simply by thinking about it. And
Right.
that's why visualization belief is so powerful.
Yeah, this is what the study says. It says, moreover, the cognitive system responsible for the creation of computational algorithms determining the trajectories of limbs and articulators can generate an infinite variation of shooting movement trajectories that realize timescales.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you are imagining yourself, writing the book, right? Or you're imagining yourself launching a podcast, or you're imagining yourself working out because that's what you want to work on in the new year, or you're imagining yourself at an oral argument or something like that. You are giving yourself a level of comfort because you are setting like the time scale or the different sort of you're visualizing or you're imagining what it might be like for you to deliver, articulate, or do this. And
Mm-hmm.
that gives you a fair level of comfort to when you actually start doing that thing.
Yeah.
You are that much more comfortable. I'll give you another example. Let's say you want to start working out on you're thinking about going to the gym. I think it'll be even powerful. And before you walk into the gym, think about the gym, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
walk in and there's a busy door and your machine is busy. What would you do? Right. And if you are prepared to know that if your machine is busy, you'll go get a foam roller and roll yourself out, you're less likely to, in the moment, make a decision or a choice that isn't furthering your goal.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. It's kind of like a line in a show or a movie that you've watched 1,000 times, and you can
Yeah.
just like, you just know what the next line is. But interestingly, Dinesh, this isn't just about like the basketball study. There was another one that Dr. Dispenza talks about, finger strength,
Mm,
visualizing finger strength for piano players.
mm,
Same thing.
yeah.
Um, that visualization is really, really important. Um, and it's the belief that you can. Now, from a like, I kind of nerd out on this stuff because essentially what's coming to mind for me is the quantum physics aspect of this,
Yeah.
right? Where the theory is that there's all these possibilities. And what we're relying on is, when you think about you going to the gym, for
Hmm.
example, right? what you're really doing is being that person who goes to the gym.
Mm, yeah.
And then from a particle physics aspect, those electrons collapse into and coalesce into a reality, quote unquote, that then you get to live and experience, right?
Yeah.
So that's why vision boarding, visualization, all of it matters so much, is because it requires you to become or be a version of yourself that you're wanting to create.
Yeah. Absolutely. And quotes time. There is a great quote that says something like, everything on the planet was created twice. First in the mind and then in reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true for rockets, and as a patent attorney, it's true for the inventions I see. It's true for so many different things. But more importantly, it's also true for you. It's also true for me. It's also true for Seema, in that whatever you are aiming to be, it needs to be created in the mind first. You need to believe that that's possible for you and see a path there to the point to where you have a belief that it's more possible than not,
Mm-hmm.
which inspires you to take deliberate action to make that happen.
Right.
And I think it really starts with getting clear, like Seema says, on what is it that you want and where is it that you're going to go, and then sitting with it and allowing your mind to get comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
And the action part that Seema mentioned to us is the thing that gets you across the line. It turns dreams into reality.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, even when I think about something as simple as eating,
Mm,
right? There's a theory in Ayurveda that when you, that's why, like, culturally we eat with our hands, right?
mhm.
Is because digestion doesn't begin in the mouth. It begins at the very moment you're thinking about eating. Your body responds with increasing your saliva production, right? And then, like, that tactile sensation of you tearing the roti and then you, like, getting the sabji and you putting it in your mouth, like, that's all a part of digestion. So that pre-phase
Mhm.
is important for effective digestion. And that's why it's important to slow down before you eat and think about it before you eat with intention. Same thing that Dinesh, you're talking about in terms of visualization. So a lot of practical applications that we may or may not think about. But we spend time, proving time and time again why this is so powerful.
Absolutely. The power of the mind. We've heard it for a long time, and that is the crux of something that I really believe right now, that in any aspect of life, the mental aspect is what governs most of
Mm-hmm.
it, and especially from a performance success, you know, happy and human perspective, the mind can really be the one that makes a difference. So nothing more powerful than a controlled mind, and one way to control it is to give it direction.